Right then, time to try something a bit more sophisticated. I've done it again. I bought a reject plant and let's see what I can do with it. But this time I'm going to show the process. So this is an Escalonia Red Dream. No idea about this plant at all. £12.99 original price, reduced to £4. I think you can see why. That's the kind of flowers it produces. It's meant as a shrub, but this was, well, again headed for the composter. And this film, if this doesn't work, will never see the light of day. Because if this fails, I'm not going to show you this. So if you're seeing this now, that means that this worked. So I'm going to more or less slaughter this, basically, from the point of view of being a shrub, and we'll see where we go. Right, let's get started. Okay, so I've removed the label. First of all, we can see we've got a dead branch here, so that could come straight off. Here, that's gone. So what I can see here, I've got a pretty dead branch down here, but it's living up here, so there is life in this branch. There's another branch there, and it's the trunk is leaning here. You can see it's leaning, so it could be quite a nice form. I'm not going to be putting this in a bonsai pot, by the way, at all. There's no way I'm doing that. It's going to be allowed to keep growing in here. And cut it right back and then give it a chance to regrow. So let's start by getting radical. This is coming straight off here. And cut that down quite a bit. And any obvious dead branches are coming off. So, pretty much slaughtered. So at this point, what I've done is either horrific or is the start of something special. If you're seeing this, then it means I've decided it's worked. Not sure, now I've got the basic shape. Trying to tidy it up a bit. Not sure what to do with this branch here. I'm going to leave that. I've got a few leaves on here that indicate it's alive. I'm going to give it a good water now it's had this shock, and I think I'm going to leave it like that and see what happens. But yeah, like I say, if I've just killed it, then you're never going to see this. So the next time you see this plant, if you see it at all, there will have been some progress. Right then, I filmed that last bit on the 29th of January, which is exactly the wrong time to prune back a plant like this before it started growing again. And it's been sitting out here looking pretty dead since then, but it's now the 12th of April. And I think we've got some little signs of growth there, some buds coming out. So I might just have got away with this. I've got rid of the old leaves that look quite dead, and that's a new one there, I think. And we have got some buds coming out here, so I might have just got away with this. This side branch here I think is dead though. That's probably going to come off, but I'm going to see what happens. But yeah, definitely there are signs of life. I've just about got away with this one, so you'll see this next if this progresses any further. Right, it's now the 26th of April. Things have developed a bit further, so I'm now going to cut back to where there is growth. So this long branch here, nothing going on at all except to there, so that's the first cut to make. And you'll probably have to sacrifice that one, but yeah, we're going to cut back to here. He says, live on camera. And here there is growth. If I come around here, there is growth up to there, so I think we're going to take this one down. I don't think we're going to get much out of it. This is the main area here, so we'll take this down as well. There's possibly, well, no, that's just dead wood. There, no. So this here is the highest up sign of life there. I'll cut on this side, just above it. And here there is a clear leaf there, but there's nothing above that. Possibly, no, there is a, yeah, I'm going to leave that one, I think. This here, there is a bud there, but nothing above that. That's a pretty rough cut from before, so we'll take that off. Tidy this up a bit. I think that's it for now. Literally noticing this as I'm filming here. There's some life there. Anything higher up, possibly slight sign of life up there. I might leave that one for now. So anyway, that's the new form, but you can see further inside lots of life happening, lots of stuff going on, so I want the energy to go into that now. So we'll see how this develops. Now the leaves are all coming out on the trees, so we have reached the May, the time of year that leaves will be coming out, so it has its best chance to grow now. Probably a time of year I should have first pruned it, and it's possible it's just survived, but yes, I will film this again if there is further progress. So it's now the 17th of May, and as you can see there's been some progress. So the long branch I cut off, I cut back to here, and there is a bit of growth there, as you can see. But this still isn't doing an awful lot here. This is doing more. Look on this side, this is active. I'll just focus on that. But this one next to it isn't really doing a lot, and it's next to a dead bit here. So what I'm going to do is take this off here, and I'm also, the shape I want, I'm going to take this, which was that long limb, right back. It has got growth in it, but it's not doing enough. I want the energy to go into this here. It's going to be quite compact, I think. Again, there's no way of knowing. It could be that this would take off, but I'm going to actually cut that. Also, the blood blister I gave myself last time is only just fading. Managed to pinch myself with my secateurs handles. Anyway, so I'm going to go right to the base here, and it's entirely possible that you'll be screaming at me as I'm doing this. Don't do it, but this is the decision I've made, so we'll go through that. Ooh, he said confidently. Ooh. That took some doing. Tidy this up a bit. So that's that off. And this one here. leave that bit there. It's quite decorative. But yeah, so we're gradually getting some kind of shape to it. Who knows how it's going to turn out, but definitely not a complete failure. It was pruned, like I say, initially at completely wrong time of year, so I'm lucky it survived really. But we're definitely getting into some kind of compact shape. Now see what this and this does. I need a bit more growth from them. I don't want to keep cutting it back, but I think we're getting to some kind of form now that could look nice in a small bonsai pot. So we'll see what it looks like next month. Right then, it's now 10 days later, on the 27th of May, and we've been away for a couple of days, and lots of things have gone. I had a bit of a growth spurt, including this. So I think we're getting more or less the form. Just taking a couple of shoots off the bottom there, but I'm now going to repot this in this, and we'll see where it gets on from there. I think that'll be okay. It's got a lovely moss form there, so it's time for it to take its place in a nice setting, and then let it grow on a bit and see what it does from there. So there'll be no more pruning. I'll put it in there and then see what it does from there. And we're getting to the point where I could say this has worked, but I think I'll be filming one more instalment in June before I put this out. So it is now out of its budget pot at last, and now it's a fairly basic procedure of trying to fit that moss lump there to the new pot. A fairly crude method of snipping down through the soil so we've got the shape. If I cut any major roots, that's fine, as long as it's got a decent root ball. I'm now just cutting through here, literally cutting down into it to carve this ball of earth and roots into a shape to fit in there, and then filling in any gaps. Right, now I've got to fit that in there. And there it is. Looking quite pretty and in proportion. Now I'm going to let that grow out and do what it's going to do. I didn't have to snip any major roots, so clearly the root ball is quite restricted anyway. Not sure why that is, because it was a much larger plant, but maybe the roots have actually, some of them have died off. But I wasn't able to snip through too much that was major there. So yeah, so we'll see how that ends up in a month's time, but I like the effect, I must admit. So it's now the 23rd of June, and I said I'd film one more instalment. It hasn't grown too much on, but it is thickening up a bit. But yeah, I'm definitely going to call this a success. Lovely gnarly trunk there. One thing I'm particularly pleased about is this here. I nearly cut off, but there was some sign of life, and actually it has grown. So that's right to do that. But I think taking that large side branch off was the right thing to do. So this will be the last instalment, and I will now put this out. This is from a £4 shrub. I keep mixing this up with my other Escalonia, which was 40p, which is a lot bigger. But this is £4, reduced from £12.99, about to go into the wood chipper. And the good thing about it is that although it's got this lovely little form now, if I plonk this in the ground, it would eventually grow back to the size where you more normally see one of these shrubs. So in a way, this is a very aesthetically pleasing way of storing shrubs, because we eventually are going to have to move, and This is a good way of taking a shrub with us. It might stay in this form, or it might end up in the ground, being allowed to grow back to its original size. It's been a 6-month experiment. I pruned it at exactly the wrong time, but it made it through. And being evergreen, we're now going to have this colour all year round, even if I keep it outside, which is lovely. So I declare this an official success.